This summer, a group from our church went to Denver for a week to experience Elevations and Dry Bones.
It was a week that was full of fun and opportunities that opened our eyes to God in nature and in broken people.
Our first day in Denver, we had mountain orientation and got all our gear. And then we headed up to the mountain and hiked to Low Camp.
The next day, we hiked several miles to High Camp. It was a very long day, but it was great for group building.
Just being able to get away from the distractions, the media, cell phones, computers, and being out in God's creation and on the trail was a great thing. And on top of that, just being able to encourage each other and grow as a group was awesome.
The next day was Summit Day. It was the highlight of our hike. We got up before the sun and hiked up to Summit. When we arrived to Summit, we enjoyed the beauty that was surrounding us and did take some Kodak moments. We also had some devotional and prayer time up on the mountain. Then we headed back down to High Camp and rested up for the next big day. The experience that we had on the mountain allowed us to reflect on our lives, our relationship with God, and even what God wanted us to see on the streets of Denver.
The Dry Bones staff did a really great job of telling us and preparing us for what was to come in the city with the street kids and the lives they lived and how different it was from ours.
On day 4, we packed up all of our gear and hiked back down to our vans where we headed back to civilization. When we got back into Denver, we took some time to clean out and turn in our gear. Then we had a quick lunch and had an orientation about what we were going to do in the city.
After being on a mountain for 4 days, as you can imagine, we were pretty tired and dirty. But we didn't take time to shower up or rest. Instead, we got right back in the vans and headed into downtown Denver.
When we arrived downtown, the Dry Bones staff took us on a turf tour. We saw signs of homelessness that we've never seen before and places where we never thought to look.
For instance, we walked along the Platte River and saw examples of homelessness under bridges, stairwells, under railroad tracks, and even storm drains.
While on the turf tour, we were hot, tired, and thirsty, but it gave us an insight of how some people live like this every day. As evening rolled around, we headed to the suburbs of Denver and went to a bowling alley.
We were met there by a group of 50 to 60 street kids that we have been told can be anywhere from 13 years old to even 30. Every week, Dry Bones takes these kids out of downtown Denver out for a night of fun and interaction with people who care about them and treat them as normal human beings.
At the bowling alley, we split up into small groups and bowled with some of the street kids. It was a great time to have fun, but also break the ice with some of the kids and get to know them. It was great to encourage the kids and high-five them and get to know them and let them get to know us.
After that, we went to a meal that Dry Bones provides each week and just hung out with them some more. Then we headed back and got a good night's rest.
The next few days were filled with opportunities to interact with the homeless people and see them through God's eyes. One of my favorite activities was a picnic that we had with the homeless people. We went out to a park and made them sandwiches, gave them chips and cookies and drinks, and while we were doing that, we had great fellowship time with them, and we didn't just show up, drop the food, and leave. We stayed for 3 hours and had some really great conversations with the people.
I really didn't know what to expect at first, but as we got out there and talked to the kids and heard their stories, I found them to be very genuine and honest people, and that each of them had a story to tell. And I really enjoyed the time that we had and the common ground that we found together.
We also took a small group of the street kids to go see a movie. It was a great time to share some laughs and some popcorn, and doing things like this is important because it gives the street kids a chance to do something that they normally wouldn't do.
One morning we did a thing called an urban plunge, where we went out into downtown Denver and found out what it would be like to be a street kid and how they would have to search for things like healthcare, food, and shelter. None of us found it as easy as we thought it would be. It helped us to better understand the struggles a street kid goes through every day.
Another morning, the Dry Bones staff took us to another part of downtown Denver, and it gave us orange juice and honey buns and told us to go walk around and strike up conversations with homeless people and hear their stories. Something as simple as listening to their stories lifted them up and gave them value that sometimes the world doesn't give them.
Our week with Elevations and Dry Bones was a great week. It showed me the blessings that I have from God and the opportunities that I have to serve others. Throughout the week, I came to realize how Jesus came for all of us and how foolish it is for anyone to think that they're above anyone else. I'm excited to be back home and just share the love that I learned in Denver with the people that I'm around every day, no matter who they are.
This experience for me really opened my eyes to a whole new understanding of the way that love and compassion, even a simple smile, can impact a person's life. And it also woke me up and let me see that I'm not more important than anybody else. We're all equally loved by the same Creator, our God, and God thinks that we're all special and we all should treat each other as such. The week may be over, but the things that I learned and the change of my heart will stay with me for the rest of my life.